Previously on LA Shrinks.
A lot of people think therapists live these perfect lives without any problems.
I want a baby.
I think you stay on the bill.
These men that you attract, what do they see you as? Playboy models, breasts, ass, hair. I think that about sums it up. We're human beings. Dad, I really need you to come out.
You need me, I'll be there.
Either you understand that Jude is truly born gay, or you're never going to have a relationship with him. Is that what you want?
Everybody's up in their own personal way.
Why do you want Dad at the wedding? He's an a-hole.
I was just unfortunate.
Well, this is where we do have to come to a close.
Got always in the last minute, huh? So how's work?
I love it. I love praising.
No, really.
I think people are getting crazier. That's what I think.
That does not surprise me
I
at all.
think people are getting crazier and more comfortable with their crazy.
Do you feel like some people are like really, they want a diagnosis?
Oh, desperate for one.
Really?
So the term diseases and disorders gets everyone off the hook from responsibility.
Right.
No, you don't have narcissistic personality disorder, you're old. No, you don't have some weird form of Asperger's that none of us heard of. You're awkward and shy.
Right.
Some people come in just to have someone else agree with their nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can do that to a certain point. But after a while, it's like, look, whoever it is, you keep coming in with the same problem week after week after week after week after week. We've talked it to death, so I can only assume that you like having this problem.
Right.
I sometimes tell people, look, I'm working harder than you at this relationship. Until you're ready to work hard, don't come back.
Right.
I have a very serious love-hate relationship with this profession. Like, every time I want to get out of this work, I get sucked back in. It's been a rough day, hasn't it, Mr. Pugh?
Hi, you two. Welcome.
Hey, Doc.
Come on in. I've had clients show up with dogs in the past. It's always a bad sign. I see you brought your dog.
Yes, this is Jimmy Choo.
Well, good. Well, welcome, Jimmy.
This is our baby, Jimmy Choo.
He's the reason we don't fight more.
I immediately have to wonder, are they using their dog just to divert away the emotional tension that's going on between them? Or in fact, are they just scared about coming into therapy and having a relationship with me? Well, let's just find out, why are you guys here? What brought you in?
You start.
We're here because I think that Stephen could use a little help in the male-female communication area. Often when I'm talking to him, he's like leaving the room while I'm telling him
But
the
I have
story.
ears, and I can hear what she's saying.
Can you at least grunt and give me a sign that you heard me?
Tamara needs undivided attention 24/7. It's just not possible. I'm a busy guy. You know, I'm a filmmaker. I work 22 hours a day.
He also exaggerates a lot.
No,
so
I'm not exaggerating.
When you demand that most men talk, it's like demanding they get hard and have sex with you at that moment. It just isn't going to happen. Let's talk about your relationship a little bit. How long have the two of you been together?
7 years, 4 months, 12 hours, 15 minutes.
And are the two of you married? Do you live together? You're not married.
We're not married.
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of feel that each of us are kind of holding out a little bit because maybe for the bigger, better deal.
Well, what are you holding out for?
I really think that he can transform into this powerful, luscious man.
Oh,
Okay, wait. So you're trying to
I
transform
hate
him?
it when she says that, too.
Yeah, hold on one second. So you're trying to
Be a
transform...
luscious man, all right?
I think he could
Hold on, pay
be so
attention to this for
powerful.
1 sec. What is going on with you? What's the feeling when she says to transform you? What...
You know, I'm an East Coaster, right? Typical broad, right? Wants to change her own
No,
mind,
no,
right?
you're doing judgment on her. Tell me, what was the feeling
it's just-
inside? What'd you feel? What went on?
Well, you're not going to change me. It's not going to
that's it.
happen.
Tell me what you felt.
What do you mean, how do I feel? It's
What
like,
did you have a feeling when she said that? I want to
I hear it all the
transform you
time. No,
into
there's
a
no
luscious
feeling.
man. Yeah, but you look irritated. Your eyebrows
It
furrowed.
bugs me.
Okay.
Like, it ain't gonna, I mean,
That's
it's
what
like,
I saw.
yeah, it's not gonna
bugs you.
happen. I'm not gonna be a luscious man, ever.
What do you want from Tamara?
Don't interfere. Like, we have a big shoot coming up, all right? We have a big star we're working with. Stay out of my way. Let me be the director. Let me run this set. Just be beautiful.
Stephen wants a trophy wife, and she is a trophy wife. She's gorgeous.
Stephen idolizes this one really powerful businessman who has a wife who's just beautiful, and she doesn't say anything and she doesn't do anything. So I am a bit conflicted because I'm more than just a beautiful wife.
You're not that person. Here's the problem. Tamara looks like a powerful woman, but she doesn't believe that she is. So she's literally using Stephen as her puppet and trying to make him succeed because she doesn't believe she has that within herself. So my task in therapy is to help her to see the power within herself and get her to believe in herself. What's one thing you would like from Stephen this week?
Sometimes I think that we need to have more meetings, like little powwows, to say, what is our vision?
So you want a
So we're on
vision,
the same
a
page.
vision powwow.
Yeah.
Is that something you do now? Do you do a vision
Well, we
powwow?
did it last night because we're having this premiere.
But that was about the premiere.
But, I mean, it was a powwow.
I
It
want
was
you to have a
collaboration.
vision powwow about your relationship. How about that?
Oh.
10 minutes where you sit and talk about your relationship for just 10 minutes. Pick a time and a place. Set a timer. You can set an egg timer, but you have to talk during that time about your relationship. That may not be as comfortable for Stephen, so you have to allow that. Okay? So I'll look forward to seeing you next time and hearing about what happened. Okay?
Hi, boys.
Hey.
Hi, Chili.
Oh, you're gonna take him, huh?
Yes.
Go to your mom. It's nice out here today.
I know. It's beautiful.
Yeah, he was loving it.
So, babe, I would like for us to go see a fertility doctor. I'd like to get my eggs tested, and I'd like for you to get your sperm tested. What do you think about that?
I thought that we both had agreed, kind of, that it was like, you know, we got a year plan to a year and a half plan and all that, right?
Well, we might not have a year. In Clayton's gut, he knows that we're gonna have kids. To him, he's like, oh, we're fine. We'll do it. You're gonna be fine. But we're kind of at a race now. There's a time limit. This is not something that is up for discussion. If I get my ovaries tested and see
Right.
how my eggs are, then at least I know.
If that's what you want to do, baby, that's what we're gonna do, okay?
Would you be cool if my mom came with us? She'll probably have questions and opinions and things to say.
She always does, right?
It can't just be me telling Clayton my biological clock is ticking. I think a doctor needs to be there, and I think my mother needs to be there. He just needs to hear the truth. Well, I'll tell you, when I woke up from our night out, I felt as though that activity was a big fail. In our first session, we discovered that Jacob has some homophobic feelings toward his brother Jude and is afraid of his own sexuality. He questions it. So I propose that we go into Jude's environment and expose Jacob to what he says he's afraid of. You know why I feel that? It was a big fail. It gave Jacob not an authentic or genuine version of what it's like to be gay. It perpetuated gay stereotypes. If I wanted to expose Jude to heterosexual activities, I wouldn't take him to a strip club. I don't think that activity gave you a better understanding of your brother,
Yeah, it really
Yeah,
did.
that's true.
and that made me very uncomfortable.
I know exactly what you're talking about. That makes me even more worried for you. That makes me not want to go out and see anything else that you do.
Okay, I want you to stop with that nonsense. Don't pretend to be worried about him when you're really concerned about your own sense of self and what it means for you, for your identical twin, to be gay. You're not allowed to hide behind that bullshit anymore.
I'm not. I really am worried about him. I'm serious. Because those guys are out of the club. I'm sure like everybody's acting crazy. You wouldn't even know if someone just took someone out of the club and carried him in the car or anything like that.
And let me tell you, that's why the activity was a fail on my part, because it put in your head gay stereotypes. Do you feel you need his worry? Do you feel like you need to protect yourself from all those gay guys?
No.
Okay, so he doesn't need you worrying about him.
Oh, so you don't think I'm worried about him?
You're clever enough to use that really as a smokescreen to be more homophobic. Just so you know, Jacob, the more homophobic you are, all you're telling me and the rest of the world is that you question your own sexuality.
Coming up, I have female friends that want to be my sex slave.
What?
If I'm that horrible a person, you shouldn't even talk to me anymore.
The more homophobic you are, all you're telling me and the rest of the world is that you question your own sexuality.
You better not question your sexuality. I think you're totally wrong on that.
Of course I'm wrong. You're always right.
You're wrong on that.
Of course. For you really to understand what it's like to be Jude, I cannot serve you up an experience. You actually have to talk to him and ask him.
And to talk to him, it's really tough to do. It's weird for some reason. I don't know why that is.
Why is that weird?
It's crazy.
Back to the part we can't even say I love you. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's
it's,
like,
it's
oh,
weird. It's,
Really?
It's so weird. I just
Yes.
The only time I say I love you is when you're going on a plane because I know.
Because I'm potentially going to die.
Yeah, that's the only time. That's the last time I say it. So it was last year.
Can you tell each other that you love each other now?
My heart's beating. Can you see it through here? Yeah, mine's beating too a little bit.
Your heart beats?
Sweating.
To think to tell your brother that you
I guess because you give each
love
other
him.
such tough love.
Yeah.
In some families, love is not a word that is used often. I can't tell you how many times I hear from men in particular that their father never told him that he loved him. So I think in some way, to Jacob and Jude, perhaps it carries some romantic feelings.
I love you, man. I love you. I love you.
It's like an unspoken thing, I guess. Or...
These are two brothers who really care for one another. They really love each other. And hopefully in time, they will also understand one another. You had said that you come here for Jude. Is that really true in your heart of hearts?
Is it?
I guess I should rephrase that.
Yeah, right.
How long are you going to use that excuse that you come here for Jude?
Well, I'm willing to admit 5% that you're here for me too. So you 95 and me 5%.
I'll take it.
Yeah. I'm trying to understand you, son.
You can get that percentage up.
And honestly, I think we can. I'll say that much. I'm very open to it now after talking to you too.
Well, it's progress. Isn't it?
Exactly, that's progress.
Yeah, but when you're gone, it gets ugly.
Well, I can't always be there with you. And you know that.
You're like the sister I've never had.
The sister you never had.
Or the gay bestie I never had.
There you go.
You're too young to be a mom, so
I appreciate that, Jacob.
just telling the truth. And beat that.
Jacob and Jude relate to one another in a cyclical pattern of arguments that seem never-ending. They use language with one another that's very hurtful. And empathy is how we encourage understanding. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but words, that hurts.
I'm seeing my dad today.
You are, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm nervous, worried. I'm worried that I'll shut down. I'm concerned about bringing up sore subjects. I'm worried that he'll get nervous and get domineering. And why are you smiling?
I'm smiling because I'm listening.
What were you thinking?
I was thinking you look so handsome right now. Why?
Well, although that's very sweet, it's always welcome. I think it's poorly timed.
I know, it's a serious moment, but I couldn't
Trying
help
to talk
it.
about my father.
Yeah, that's a big deal, meeting your father. Yeah.
You know, it's funny about partners. Sometimes they're not always the exact type of support that you want, but they usually give you the support you need.
Honey, good luck today.
Okay?
Yeah, good luck.
See you later. Okay, thanks. Bye. My father doesn't remember or just won't acknowledge physical abuse happened when I was a kid. I was having nightmares about what I had been through, and my father not telling the truth about what happened. I knew that I needed to face this situation, that the nightmares weren't going to go away until I resolved some of these issues. Dad, hey.
How you doing, dude? Good to see you.
see you.
Good to see you.
Come on in.
Your house looks outstanding. It's just beautiful. You've done a great job. I love the way you've done the accent trim and whatnot.
We need to talk. And honestly, Dad, I don't even know where to start with the whole thing. You know, I think all of us had a difficult time growing up. All the kids did. It was very difficult.
You know, the only one that's got a complaint in the whole family is you.
Why is that?
Well, because, you know, I was crazy when you were growing up. I hope you and I have settled it. Here's the sad thing about parents. We tried to do the best we can.
The problem I had was more the physical abuse and the
Spanking you?
more than that.
I spanked you with a hairbrush, and I used my belt. And I never hit you more than 2 or 3 times at the most. That was it.
Okay, so I don't want to go and argue about this because this is what upset
Yeah,
me
but if you
last
bring it
time.
up, be prepared to answer it.
I had to stand in the garage with just my underwear on, and he would hit my feet and my legs. If you cried, you got it worse. It was hell. I mean, honestly, growing up, there was a lot that was very negative, and I was scared much of my life growing up.
Kids get things so out of proportion.
I remember it very distinctly.
My gosh. Oh, Greg. If that's the case, you shouldn't even talk to me anymore. If I'm that horrible a person, I don't deserve to be around you.
We just have different memories of what happened.
You know what's really the regretful thing is you even think it. You're a psychologist. Don't you see people that misperceive things?
Yes.
You've never heard of that?
Yes, I
And
have.
you're sure that you're absolutely correct, and there's no misperception on your part at all.
Not about those things.
Film at 11. There is.
Coming up, what's with the outfit? It's a costume.
Oh my God!
Happy birthday, Papa! Today is my father's 60th birthday. Hurry up, Blanche, hurry up! About 15 years ago, I went home to visit my father. And I overheard him talking about this amazing Harley Davidson that he has. That he, in fact, did not have. And my heart just sank. Because I remember that feeling of wanting to be more than you are in the moment. I was in love with this boy in first grade named Vincent. And he made fun of the holes in my shoes. And at 6 years old, I made a promise that I had sewn to my soul. I am getting out of this neighborhood. I am not going to be poor. I'm ashamed that at times I was embarrassed by my parents, our row home. I was embarrassed by those things, and now it's those things that I cherish. Shh! Don't say anything!
Hey, what's going on?
Let's do it!
What are you guys doing?
We have some something to show you.
What he's got?
We have the... Shh! Come on. Come with us. We have something for you. Please, this way. Boys, wait for pop-up. No peeking. Higher. No peeking. No peeking. Keep moving.
What is this?
Your new Harley, bud.
Oh my God! Are you kidding me? Oh man, I can't believe you remember when you were a little kid. I said I always wanted one of them. Oh my God! Thank you, honey. Oh, and I know Matt had something to do with it. I know Swedes don't hug. Oh my God!
It's really a gesture of thank you, but not just for coming to help me with the boys. Just thanks for being a great dad. Thanks for being a good person.
Happy 60th.
Yep.
Yeah?
I thought I was getting a rocking chair. Look what I got.
Katie is nurturing the persona, the Playboy bunny, this perfect Barbie-looking doll. But the problem is she's coming in to therapy saying, I'm attracting all the wrong men. But this is a much deeper issue of why she's attracting all of the wrong men. Hi, Katie. Hi. Come on back. When I first walked into the waiting room and saw Katie in her pajamas, my face internally went, what's with the outfit? You had talked about, in the first session, what do you look like when you go to the bank or when you go to Starbucks or whatever? This is exactly what I look like. I get what the point is and why you're doing it, but I kind of feel like it's a costume. What you said in our last session, and you got so emotional, was that people judge you for how they see you. What people on the outside see is a costume. It's not a costume. This is exactly how I am when I'm not going to work. But you still have a lot of makeup, fake eyelashes. It's your opinion that I'm wearing a lot of makeup. If you wanted my opinion, I would tell you to put some fake lashes on, because you would look prettier. If you're in therapy and you really want to have a breakthrough, I've got to call it as it is. Let's let it be authentic. Okay. But this outfit is authentic. I want to get to know beyond the surface. Okay. So what made you decide to go into the industry that you're in now? The kids next door, the kids I would play with when I was a kid, their dad had a huge Playboy collection in his office. And I would always go look at the Playboys. I was like, oh my God, these girls are so beautiful. Like, I want to be one of them. She must have a great life. She must have men falling in love with her. And I must have been 7, 8, 9, whatever. And I was always bummed out that I didn't have boobs like the Playboy girls. That was like a whole fantasy world that I wanted to be a part of. Most little girls fantasize about being Cinderella. Katie was fantasizing about being on the cover of Playboy magazine. But actually, it's detrimental to fantasize about either. No man is going to save her. That comes from within. I want to talk more about that. Okay. So what was going on at home? My dad was an alcoholic. And my mother withdrew. She withdrew emotionally because she was so unhappy. My sister was a full-blown heroin addict by the time she was 16. And my sister's addiction, like I said, did take her life. It says so much about you. For you, the Playboy model lived this perfect life. And so the fantasy was, I'm going to make myself become that. Yes. Because I need to get out of this world I'm living in. Yes. A lot of women who are in your industry come from broken homes. A lot of pain and heartache. I remember a fellow playmate friend of mine saying to me, we're all broken and we are trying to fix it. I'm wondering, is it all that you had dreamed of? I think the part that's missing is the guy part. I'm not attracting the right kind of relationship for myself. I know that. This is going to sound really strange, but I have quite a large number of female friends that want to be my sex slave. What?
Try to remember this. It's what you think you experienced. Okay, because you
See,
yourself,
Dad,
doctor,
can
said...
we just leave that?
Well, I know, but...
Because all you're doing with me right now is negating and invalidating
I'm not
what
negating
happened.
it. I'm not.
Couldn't I just use the same argument back on you?
Yes.
This is what you think it's... You
I
thought
agree.
you were a saint and only used a hairbrush? I mean, come on. It's tough for me that he doesn't remember it. At the same time, I know that to acknowledge that would cause him great pain. So it's unfortunate I can't get those things to go away, but I can learn to live with them. I was thinking about your experience as a child, too, which you haven't talked about very much. But I actually keep this picture. It's a picture of... How old were you here?
Oh, my gosh, I haven't seen that in 1,000 years. I was probably 10.
And what do you see in that?
It looks like everybody's angry to me. I mean, I spanked you. And I did things I shouldn't have done. But my dad was a closed fist guy. There was a lot of alcohol involved in the household.
I look at that little child and I think how lonely you seem and alone.
My mother died when I was a day and a half old.
Yes, I know.
And my stepmother didn't like kids.
Right.
She was my third stepmother.
Right.
Or fourth, I'm not quite really sure. They'd leave me for days at a time. There was cans of soup and stuff, but I really wasn't much of a cook at 6. The neighbors would find out I was by myself, which I usually got real big trouble for that, but they let me go over and eat with them. And that picture makes a big difference to me, because that picture helps me to understand that this was a little boy who suffered just like I did. Just know I love you. Whatever happens, there's nothing that would ever stop me from caring about you.
Right.
Ever. All the time you were gone, all the years I prayed about you all the time. You know, I think you're, you know. I prayed about this as an answer to prayer. It really is.
Seeing him break down brought empathy and sympathy, almost like I was the parent in that moment. It was very important healing to have witnessed that. It's important for me to work out this problem that we have, so that's it.
I love you to death. I always have.
I love you too.
Coming up, they would want to watch me make love to my boyfriend.
You think I'm a jerk?
I wouldn't put it past you. All of these women are wanting you to be their sex slave. No, they want to be mine. They want to be your sex slave, yes. No, yes. They tell me all the time, like, I want to, give you a bath, or I want to massage you. And they would want to watch me make love to my boyfriend. Here's what I want. I want a male relationship with a lot of substance. I want the real relationship. But I also want to have a little bit of fun with the girls that want to be the sex slave. I want both.
What do women give you that men don't?
Admiration.
So they're admiring?
They admire, like, God, you're so pretty, and your boobs are so pretty, and I like that.
They're admiring you like you admired the Playboy.
Yeah, and I like that.
The women she's having relationships with are women in her industry. So Katie's really successful in her industry. So these women want to be just like her. And they're just as broken as she is. Women and men are throwing themselves at you.
Yes.
Women and men
Yes.
all want you for what you look like. Her validation is through her looks. She's not getting validated for who she is. Nobody's telling her how smart she is and what a wonderful person she is. And they're not pointing at her values. They're pointing at her boobs.
I do want to do some active therapy with you. I want to take you on a photo shoot. A natural beauty photo shoot without all of the makeup. Just you getting to know you.
I want to see what happens with Katie when she takes the makeup off. I want to see what emotions come up, what vulnerability comes up, and that's a really scary place for people to go.
Are you willing to go there with me? I don't know.
Okay.
Yet. I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. Maybe it's a little too early on for me to know if I'm capable of getting that place.
I hate antique shopping. I hate it.
Ooh, be careful. It's like a bull in a china shop.
I especially don't like it with Kevin because Kevin and I have very different taste.
I had a small one. I've always wanted the big one.
That would be great to be in the house.
Wouldn't you be thrilled?
I think I've had my fill.
Okay, I know. You've got your limit when it comes to vintage. All right. So, honey, how was seeing your dad?
It was very emotional.
Was it?
He has no memory of what happened, and he...
Amazing. Just amazing.
Well, I mean,
how
he
does it.
believes that it just didn't happen and that
I
we
know.
were all making it up.
I know Kevin doesn't like what happened in the past.
And he's protective of me and doesn't want to see me hurt. Some part of the baggage that comes with me and being in a relationship with me is my family. And I think that's one of the tougher things.
And you're apologizing for that?
Oh, yeah, I am.
Oh, you don't have to. That's right. No.
You know, I
You
do
have to
feel
do that.
responsible for it. It's something I want to work out.
Is he coming to the wedding?
Yeah, he hasn't changed his mind there at all. And I want to make sure that he's there. But we actually talked about going to see a therapist.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully that'll be helpful.
It'll work out fine.
I hope so.
In our first session, Shane came to me wanting to relearn a skill, the skill of vulnerability. He declares how much he wants to be in love, but he doesn't want to be intimate. I don't think Mrs. Right is really the goal here. I think the goal is to get you to feel intimate with someone, to get you to feel good with someone.
Yeah, but I enjoy doing it with a lot of people, you know? I mean, maybe that's selfish, but...
It's about, can he be vulnerable with me? Can we connect? That might be really difficult. It starts with the stories. Oh, I sleep with all these women. It's a narrative that he's creating for me so that I have a storybook of who Shane really is instead of who Shane really is. What do you see are your obstacles in terms of finding love?
Fear, of course.
Okay.
Fear of probably falling in love and maybe she leaving or something.
Rejection,
I don't know.
abandonment, has it ever happened before?
No,
Okay.
I've never allowed it to happen, you know?
What do you mean?
I've never gotten close with a girl to allow her to abandon me. I don't know, it's...
Do you think you're worthy of love? Because I believe that there is an enormous epidemic. People don't feel worthy that they deserve love. And I wonder if you're part of that.
I might be. I do a good job of suppressing emotion. I like to be in control, you know? As long as I think I have the upper hand.
It's going to be tough to be in an intimate relationship but want to feel like you have the upper hand.
I want to get past that, though. That's the thing.
Good.
Be completely vulnerable. I want to see what it feels like, you know? I know from talking to friends that there can be loves like in the movies. Like The Notebook. I just want to experience that.
Movie love doesn't exist. It doesn't.
So I just want to experience that. I understand it's not going to always be like that, but,
Okay.
you know, I don't have unrealistic expectations.
No, clearly not. And you might be the only straight man that's ever watched The Notebook, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out there.
No, I have so many friends that have cried at that movie.
Love songs of movies have done for relationships what the waif look did for body image. It just distorted our whole perception of what really happens in real relationships. I'm curious as to how you behave in front of women. I'm very curious. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna set you up on blind dates. And you're gonna go. And I'm gonna go with you. And just when you're about to act like a I'm gonna save you.
I'm not gonna act like a jerk.
I have my reservations.
Yeah? You think I'm a jerk?
No, but I in situations when you're nervous, I wouldn't put it past you. So I'm just curious as to how these dates unfold, what is said. It's not about the blind dates. It's about us doing something together. I care about Kim and I connecting. We're gonna do something together. We're in it together. I would be happy just if you could feel intimate with someone. That's all. I'm asking you to be open to the experience.
Okay.
Coming up, you know, he only knows what he thinks he knows.
I think everyone has a different story.
There's no different story. It's a fact.
So as far as the actual wedding goes, are we thinking a specific location?
I would love to have it at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery, but he's not going for it.
A wedding at a cemetery, it's like celebrating the death of our sex life.
We absolutely love the challenge of two different vibes here.
Oh, it'll be a challenge,
And
all
bringing those together.
Setting up a wedding, I wish you could just blink your eyes and make it happen, but apparently you can't. And since I know I have no skill in that arena whatsoever, we desperately need wedding planners.
So how do your families feel about you getting married?
You know
I'm
what?
thinking about my family.
I haven't really talked to him about it yet. I don't think they're going to have any problems with it.
Yeah, my family, they veer from tolerant to maybe not as supportive.
So is your entire family coming to the wedding?
I hope so.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, that's what we're going for
We'll go
here.
pick people up and caravan them there.
So how long is this going to take?
The sessions are like 45 minutes long,
Okay.
so
Hi, guys. Come on in.
you need help.
Yeah, I do.
I think my sisters will be emotionally uncomfortable. Seeing my dad at the wedding, it's good to be emotionally uncomfortable now and then, but it's not something I necessarily want at my wedding. So what I'm going for in the therapy session is really to get a solid commitment from my father that he's going to be cool at the wedding.
As you may know, I had a session with Greg, and he suggested that my role here to help facilitate the two of you talk. That's what I'm here for, so.
I think we need to focus the discussion on the upcoming wedding.
On the upcoming what?
Wedding, and the day that, you know, and that the girls will all be there, Michelle and Pam, and...
Let's talk about Michelle first. I slapped her once.
No, I'm not talking about the
let's
physical
talk
stuff.
about the abuse thing
No,
first.
but I don't want to talk about that. I mean, I'm talking about present day, and I'm asking them to be there, and I'm asking you to be there, and I want to be able to forge something that can help everyone be in the same place.
I get the feeling that he thinks everything that's going on with the family is all my fault.
Okay.
You know, he only knows what he thinks he knows.
I think everyone has a different story.
There's no different story. It's hell.
Tell me about that a little
It's
bit.
beyond hell.
Tell me.
It's that perception of, well, you did wrong, Dad. So obviously it's still your fault.
My dad is expressing resentment about my sisters, and I can't really defend them because anything I say, he can just rebut and say, no, a different reality is true.
I kind of hear you talking about what happened in the past, and I hear Greg saying, well, let's talk about how we're going to deal with what's going to happen at this wedding.
Can you let go of this resentment, at least on that wedding day? Because
It's not resentment.
You
No,
do.
it's
You
not
have
resentment.
such
There's no resentment.
Come on.
Okay, I missed a chance to know my grandkids. Do I resent that? I'm unhappy about it.
This
Fine.
anger is getting in the way.
Oh, gosh.
Don't you think, though?
No.
You don't?
No.
Could I ask you, Greg, for the sake of time, what would you like from Dad in relationship to your special day?
Just to allow things to be and allow the girls to handle the situation how they want to handle it.
There won't be an intention on my part. I'll just sit there. And if nobody wants to recognize that I'm even there, fine. Just set me in the back. I don't care. I mean, I'm not looking for a confrontation.
Next on LA Shrinks. I set you up on 3 blind dates.
Can I drink out of the bottle?
No,
I felt like I was holding my true self back.
maybe your true self sucks.
Since the last time I came in, my ex actually asked me to marry him.
In honor of you being the new
new president of the Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Hey, Tamara. Where's Steven?
Well, he was too busy today to come.
You definitely can go in with him. Actually, we get better sperm samples when the wife goes with him.